Hello guys and welcome back to Madfire on channel. So in this tutorial series we are going to create a simple endless traffic racer game. In this series we are going to check input system which will be used to move our player, and in our vehicle selection system endless level generation with reusing existing level pieces, vehicle selection system which will allow the player to select different vehicles, random enemy spawning, singleton concept, and more. The entire project is available on GitHub. The link will be in the description. And if you want to follow the entire series, then you can check out my Patreon page. The link will be in the description. All the videos of this series are uploaded there, and you will also get premium version of this project which has extra features in it like Facebook login, AdMob, Unity ads, Unity in-app purchase, social share, game analytics, and more. Go to prefab folder and just drag our road folder to it, and also drag one of the car to it. Okay, so you can see we are looking into this. And by the way, if you see our main camera, its transform is already set up. You can see its position as well as rotation is already set up, and its camera color is solid color with a color of green, which is similar to this ground color. Okay, so now we want to move our car. Let's go to our car. Yeah, so as you can see here, when we swipe on right side we want to move our car to right, and when we swipe on left side we want to move our car over left. So the extreme right position, if you see, is 3. We cannot go beyond this 3, and extreme left is -3, and we have only 3 lanes to move. So the first lane, this middle one, is at 0. So right one is at 3 and left one is at -3. So first we need to learn how to detect our swipe, whether it is left or right. So for that we will create a new script. So in scripts folder, right click and create a new C# script, and let's call this input manager. So let's double click on input manager, and as usual let's put it in our namespace traffic racer, and let's remove the start and update. So here also we want our input manager to be an instance. So for that we will create a public static input manager instance variable, and now in awake we will check if instance is equal to null, then instance is equal to this, else we destroy this game object. So now to detect our swipe we need to detect our click position. So what we will do is we will create a 3 vector 2 variables. So first one will be start pose, second will be end pose, third one will be difference. And before we move forward, let's go to our game enum, and we also need one more enum, so it will be a public enum, and we'll call this swipe type. So we want to keep track of which swipe we have done. So first will be none, second will be right, and third will be left. So in this game we are going to only detect left and right swipe. We are not going to detect up and down. So only these 3 are required. So save this script and go to input manager. So here we will create a private swipe type variable, and by default it will be equal to swipe type dot none. So we will create a update method, and inside our update method we'll check if input dot get mouse button down 0. So if we have tapped our screen, then we will set our start position is equal to end position, which will be equal to our input dot mouse pose. Then we'll check if input dot get mouse button up 0. So here we are checking if we have released our button or click. Then we will set our end pose is equal to input dot mouse position. So here we want to do one thing is that we want to keep a small threshold just to make sure that any swipe cannot be detected as a swipe. We need to do a specific minimum distance swipe within a given time span. So for that we will create few more variables. So first will be private float swipe threshold, which will be equal to 0.15f. So swipe threshold is nothing but the percentage of the entire width of a screen will be taken. So let's say our screen is of 100 pixel width. So we have to make sure that our distance between our start pose and end pose has to be minimum 15% of our width, that will be like 15 pixel. Then we will create a private float swipe time limit, which will be equal to 0.25f. The swipe time limit is a time within which we have to complete our swipe. So consider if we take more time than our swipe time limit, then that swipe will not be considered. Then we will create a private float start time, end time. So let's go back to our update method, and here in our first condition, when we tap on our screen, we will set our start time will be equal to our end time, which will be equal to time dot time. Now in another condition, when we leave our click or tap, we set our end time will be equal to time dot time, and then we will check if end time minus our start time is less than or equal to swipe time limit. If this is true, then we will call our detect swipe method, and then we will create our void detect swipe method below. So in detect swipe method, we are again going to confirm whether it is a swipe or not, and if it is, then in which direction we are doing our swipe. So for that, so here we will set our swipe type is equal to swipe type dot none. Then we will set our difference is equal to end pose minus our start pose. Then we check if difference dot magnitude is greater than swipe threshold into screen dot width. If it is true, then we check if difference dot x is greater than 0, then swipe type is equal to swipe type dot right. Else, if difference dot x swipe type is equal to swipe type dot left, and we will call this method in our update in this condition. Now we want to send this information to the required people. So for that we will create a event. So we'll call using system, and here we will create a public action, and we will call this swipe call back. Set our action of type swipe type. So whichever method we are going to save in this action callback will take swipe type as a parameter. So in detect swipe, at the end, once everything is done, we will call our swipe callback, and we will pass our swipe type here. And let's remove these two things, we don't need them. Now we just need to use our input data in the respective classes. So let's go back to our editor,